Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, dun dun dun, the plot has thickened in the bantamweight division. Because as many of us know, and as many of us have lived through, and come to find out, John Riel Casimero, Naoya Monster Inoue, big time unification fight on ESPN. It got canceled. It's probably the best fight that got canceled of all these fights that got scrapped that was supposed to happen. So, as I mentioned in the video recently, Inoue can't really leave Japan because they won't allow him to. There's a lot of restrictions coming in and out of the country. So he's kind of stuck there for the time being, from according to the reports and stuff like that. And now Bob Arum's coming out, and he's trying to find solutions for John Riel Casimero because Casimero has been out here training for some time now. He's in a whole training camp since he's been out here in America. I actually had a chance to see John Riel Casimero at Mundo Boxing Gym in Miami, and I did an interview with him. I got some good footage of him, and it was a great time. So Bob Arum is, as you can see on the screen, he stated that John Riel Casimero might be fighting Joshua Greer next. Yes, Joshua Greer, that Joshua Greer. Don't blink. Now, we'll get into the quotes and then we'll dissect from there. Here's what Arum said in regards to a potential fight between Casimero and Greer. He said, I quote, "One of the possible fights we're talking about for Casimero is Joshua Greer, our kid from Chicago. He was going to fight Jason Maloney, so we could have him fight Casimero. That's a good competitive fight." And then Greer himself told Boxing Scene, from the looks of things, it's a good fight with Casimero. Casimero is unpredictable, wild guy, very unpredictable. It's a good matchup. I'm just looking for the winner, either or. I'm going to take care of business against Jay. Oh, no, these were his quotes before that fight. So, yeah, basically, Joshua Greer was supposed to fight Jason Maloney on the undercard of this anyway. And the funny thing was, before Casimero and Inoue was officially made, I always thought that Inoue was going to make his debut against Joshua Greer because it made sense. He's a top ranked fighter. He's been fighting on big shows. He's gotten some wins. I don't think he beat Nikolai Potapov. I thought Potapov beat him, and I think he should give Potapov a rematch. But he got the win against him. He fought, what was the guy's name? Lozano. He got dropped. So he hasn't looked impressive over his last 2 or 3 fights, over the last year or so. But if we go back 2 years ago to 2018, 2017, when Joshua Greer was fighting, James Gordon Smith and Glenn DeZern and guys of that caliber, oh, he looked $1 million. I thought we were looking at potentially one of the next big stars in American boxing. But he stepped up and he stepped up to a certain level when he hasn't looked as good, and he's been fortunate that Top Rank is behind him because he's got some in my opinion gift decision. He got a gift decision against Potapov, but I like Greer. I want to see him do well, and I think the Casimero fight, if it does come off, if the fight does come off, I think it's a good fight for Joshua Greer because of the fact that when we talk about Casimero and Greer and what they both do well, and we're talking about the styles of the strength of both of them, is they both love to trade. They both love to land the big shots. Casimero throws these shots from wild-ass, weird angles. Just the most obscure angles that you'll see in the division. And when they land, they get your attention because he's carrying some serious thump in both hands. So he's got fight-changing punching power. Greer, he's got quick hand speed, fast twitch muscles. When he lets his hands go and puts them things together, Greer is a good fighter. And I think, Casimero is the kind of fighter, he's not really much of a back foot fighter. He's someone that is patient. He'll look for the big shot, but he wants to trade. He wants to exchange. He wants to bring the pain. So I could see this being a good fight. I don't think it's as a lot of people might look at the recent form of the two fighters. They might look at the former Casimero, coming off of a big-time win where he stopped Zolani Tete in devastating fashion. And they might look at Greer, who's looked like, underwhelming against Potapov and underwhelming against, I think it was Lozano. They might look at those two fights from Greer and say, well, you know what? Because Casimero's in this form and because Joshua Greer's in this form, it's clear to see what's going to happen. And that's not how boxing works. It's never been how boxing works. It'll never be how boxing works. I look at this fight as a 65-35 fight in favor of Casimero, and I'm gonna tell you why. I will look at it. I will look at it that way. Casimero, Riel Casimero, he's, in my opinion, the harder puncher of the two. He's not the faster of the two, but he's the harder puncher of the two. And he gets hit less. Greer's problem to me is that he gets hit way too much, and when he does get hit, he hasn't proven to be the most durable guy in the world. Now, fortunately for him, he's been just durable enough to where these guys aren't stopping him and folding him up all together. So he's kind of like, in a sense, in his own way, like Keith Thurman, because Keith Thurman, although he's a good fighter, a fantastic fighter, he's been hurt many times and shown vulnerabilities, but nobody's ever shown that extra bit of quality to finish him off. And it's the same thing with Greer on a lesser scale and at a lower level. He's fought these Potapovs, he's fought these Lozanos and these guys that have dropped him and given him some problems and hurt him, but they haven't really been able to show that extra bit of quality to finish him off. Now, Casimero is a higher caliber fighter, so will Greer be one of those guys that actually rises up to his level of opposition? Because he could be one of those guys. And stylistically, of the champions, that's not a bad fight for him. Now, if he was fighting Inoue, I think it'd be a bad fight for him because Inoue is got more dimensions to him. He can move a lot more. He's a more well-versed boxer than a guy like Casimero. As for Casimero, he's looking for that one big shot. So I think this is a chance for Joshua Greer to really announce himself to the world, to announce himself to the bantamweight division as a guy that's better than what he's shown, a guy that's going to be around for not just a good time, but a long time. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Joshua Greer can do against top opposition. I know a lot of people will shit on this fight and they'll say, "Oh well, Casimero's going to flatten him. This is a horrible fight." And I'm gonna say it like this: unless they can find a way to get Inoue, to bring Inoue's ass from Japan to America and and still have the fight next, I think this is a fantastic fight. Because of the styles, because of the fact that you're gonna get a hungry guy in Greer looking to prove himself. You're gonna get a guy in Casimero who, let's be honest, he was getting ready to fight a guy that is top 3 pound for pound in the world and one of the best fighters in boxing in Inoue, and he's fighting this kid from Chicago in Greer who is solid, is doing his thing, but he's not really at that level yet. So it's a classic trap fight to where you could see a letdown from Casimero, and a letdown from Casimero and a hungry Greer could make for fireworks. It could make for a great fight, and I want to see it. I've been wanting to see Joshua Greer really step up because I feel like Top Rank's been throwing him in with these fighters with a certain level of fighters to show what his level is, and I think to me he's already shown his level. But who knows? Sometimes you get these fighters that when they fight better fighters, they actually fight better. They fight to the level of the opposition. So maybe Greer is better than we think because, I mean, it wasn't so long ago that he was on Showbox fighting James Gordon Smith and landing all these amazing knockouts and bringing out the pillows. So, best of luck to Joshua Greer if the fight comes off. Unless they get the Inoue Casimero fight next, then I'm all for this fight. I'm 100% behind this fight because it's a great style matchup. If it was Greer Inoue next, I'd probably have to sing a bit of a different tune. But Greer Casimero is a great style matchup, and I'm looking forward to seeing how all that goes. And we'll definitely be covering all of the latest developments as things progress. But let me know what you guys think. What kind of chance do you give our the young kid from Chicago, Joshua Greer, in a potential fight with Riel Casimero? Let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. Make sure y'all take the time to subscribe. Like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dania. So until next time, take care, guys.